to the next leg of our discussions today. For 2 decades now, the Nigerian Bar Association has continued to celebrate the greatness of Gani Fawenhinmi and his contributions to the development of the legal profession and human rights protection. Chief Fawenhinmi was a renowned lawyer, an activist, writer, publisher, philanthropist, and social critic who died in 2009 at the age of 71. He stood strongly for the promotion of transparency and good governance, as well as the protection of human rights. And in his honor, an annual lecture that focuses on different issues affecting the country has been held for 19 years, with the 20th set to hold this year on Monday, the 15th of January. And we have joining us to speak about this the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja branch, Olawunmi. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. And of course, I know that preparations are in top gear. We know that, all hands are on deck to ensure the success of this landmark celebration, 20th year.
Yes.
But tell us, how it's been so far. What formed the crux of this decision for the branch to annually organize a lecture in honor of the late Gani Fawenhinmi?
Thank you very much, and I'm very grateful. I'm very happy that I could be here this morning. Our branch, the Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja branch, as you well know, is a foremost branch of the Nigerian Bar Association. And so some 20 years ago, the leadership of the branch under Dr. Adekunle Ojo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, thought that it would be nice to celebrate Chief Gani Fawenhinmi in his lifetime. In this part of the world, what we do is to celebrate people when they are dead. By that time, the branch thought that this man that has done so much, that has fought for the poor, the needy in the society, that have contributed so much to the development of law in Nigeria, should be celebrated. And that was the reason that he was approached. And Chief Gani, for who he was, he would ordinarily not agree to such, because he was not a man that would just want to come to be celebrated just for the sake of being celebrated. But he saw that indeed the branch was at that time very particular about what they wanted to do, which of course again was not just to celebrate Chief Gani Fawenhinmi, but to ensure that the public, because most times when you look at the Nigerian society, people don't know what lawyers do. So that program has afforded us the opportunity of bringing out to the public what Chief Gani Fawenhinmi actually stood for. And that was the reason that the branch at that time thought it's wise to celebrate Chief Gani Fawenhinmi, his ideals, his legacy, and most importantly, because he contributed immensely to the development of law in Nigeria. And that is the only lawyer that I think has been so celebrated in Nigerian history.
Tell us about the ideals of Chief Gani Fawenhinmi and how this has affected the mindset of Nigerians. I ask this question because I knew when Chief Gani Fawenhinmi was going all about doing his advocacy and fighting for Nigerians, but some young people watching us might not know. So I ask, his ideals, tell us about his ideals and how this has affected the mindset of Nigerians and pushed this democracy to where it is today.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, we're talking about a very upright individual. Very upright indeed. And I'm happy that you asked that question, because most young people watching us now may not know truly. And when you look at what is lacking in Nigerian society today, is the likes of Chief Gani Fawenhinmi. Sincerely. And people have asked also, if Chief were to be alive, what would have been his reactions today? So we're talking about a man who has never taken, who never took a dime from government, who never took contracts. And yet he did very well. In Nigeria today, people in politics, they try to romance people in government because of what they will earn. And they think that if they don't do that, there's no way they could do better. But Chief Gani Fawenhinmi, through his lifetime, never took government contract. In fact, the then self-acclaimed president of Nigeria, Babangida, said he tried to bribe him severally. He tried to lobby him severally, and the man refused. So that is the kind of man that we are talking about. A dogged fighter, a fighter for the common man on the street. He associated very well with the needy, the beggars. He was a giver. He sponsored so many people through schools. And that is the man we're talking about.
All right. Mr. Olawunmi, let's quickly put you on hold and, connect with our judiciary correspondent. Today is a big day in Abuja. Of course, many states are awaiting crucial decisions of the Apex Court in Abuja, and our correspondent, Celestina Area, who has been keeping tabs over there, is standing by for us with updates. Hello, Celestina. So how are things looking up over there at the Supreme Court ahead of these judgments about to be delivered? Hello, Celestina. Hello, Celestina, can you hear me? If you can, just tell us how things are looking up over there. All right, we will try to reconnect with Celestina. In the meantime, let's come back to our discussion with the chairman of the NBA, Ikeja branch, Seyi Olawunmi, who is here to talk to us about the upcoming annual Gani Fawenhinmi lecture, which is holding next Monday, January the 15th. What's the theme of this year? Because I remember last year it was in the build-up to the general election, yes. and so the conversations were around ensuring free and fair elections, and that also, appears to be the trend all through the past years. Yes. Something, it's always a national discourse, and gets reactions, interesting reactions from all and sundry. So what should we look forward to this year?
Thank you very much. This year, there's a deviation. Like you said, if you look at Gani Fawenhinmi lecture, most times we talk about elections, we talk about government. Of course, we're still going to be talking about government and governance and the like. This year, the theme is right to self-determination and agitation for secession in Nigeria. That is the theme for this year. Last year, it was about free, fair, credible election in Nigeria. And the previous years, we've had similar theme. And this year, Professor Wole Soyinka is the chairman. The lead discussant is Mr. Femi Aborishade and Mr. Ezenwa and Ezenwa Wangu. Right. And we also have Senator Shehu Sani as discussants.
That appears to be power-packed. And in terms of expectations, what do you hope? What is the branch hoping to expect, from this array of very important personalities that will give, no doubt, this interesting perspectives to the topic at hand? What are you hoping to achieve?
Like in the past, right. We're hoping to achieve a better Nigeria. Like I said, Chief Gani Fawenhinmi in his lifetime was a very upright man. So many things are wrong with our society. This morning you just talked about the banker who committed suicide. Things are very hard, and we're trying to ensure that as we grow in this profession and we go to attend this program, we see a new Nigeria. We see that things can be done differently. The woman that killed herself, only God knows what the problem actually is. You understand? And there are people also who are going through a lot. So when we come together to do a program like Fawenhinmism, as we popularly refer to Chief Gani Fawenhinmi annual lecture, we hope that there will be a better Nigeria. We hope that people will stand up like Gani to take up public interest litigation. Will help to speak truth to power. So that is the very essence of Fawenhinmism.
Right.
Okay, so before I ask my question, we'll move to our correspondent at the court, Supreme Court, where there will be judgment delivered this morning on for 8 states, and Celestina Area is on standby. Celestina, good morning, and how is it at the Supreme Court today?
Well, Theophilus, security at the Supreme Court has been beefed up ahead of the judgment. We know the Supreme Court is located in the 3-arm zone in the FCT, so the wait leading to this very location has been barricaded. The court is expected to commence sitting at 9 a.m. prompt. Appellants are beginning to trickle in. Supporters are also coming in. But because of the number of appeals that the court will take today, there is a list of litigants and supporters, as well as lawyers, who is to be in the courtroom. We know the capacity of the courtroom is not very large, so they're trying to reduce the number of persons and ensure they maintain decorum and peace within the premises of the Supreme Court. Behind me, as you can see, is a scanner to ensure that no person comes in with any unauthorized material or object. And today the Supreme Court will take appeals from different states. Yesterday, Justice Ian Gokoro announced that judgments in 8 states will be delivered. But all the judgments are important. Most of them are appealed against concurrent findings of the lower court, which is the Court of Appeal, and the trial court. But some are consecutive judgments where the tribunal did not agree with where the Court of Appeal did not agree with the tribunal. But in all of these judgments, as important as they are, we have 2 peculiar ones which the governors have appealed. That of Plateau State, that is a judgment which the court will deliver today. But we know the issues from Plateau State had already had a ripple effect on the National Assembly members, wherein they've lost their seats. But at this very place, at this court, if the court decides to overturn the judgment, status quo will be maintained, which means the governor will continue to do his duty as the governor. But at the flip side of it, the House of Representatives members have already lost their seats. So this is an issue that we need to be taken into consideration, and our jurisprudence has to be maintained. So something like this do not occur again, Theophilus.
Interesting, especially, but I want you to also, give some, more information as to what makes the case of Plateau State, very, very interesting, especially for our viewers who have not been following. Tell us more about why Plateau State stands out.
Okay, well, Kemi, the tribunal affirmed the decision, his election, but the Court of Appeal overturned his election. So he appealed to the Supreme Court, seeking to set aside the decision of the Court of Appeal. Why I said it's peculiar, because he is a member of the PDP, and also the National Assembly candidates from the PDP, they've lost their seats because the National Assembly election only lapses or ends at the Court of Appeal. But if now the court comes out to say that it is not, the states do not have powers to conduct Congress that will elect, that will lead to the primary to elect the governors, those National Assembly candidates, they've lost their seats, because the contention at the Supreme Court is the fact that they did not comply with the order of the court, and the PDP did not conduct the primaries that produced the governor. But of course, the defense of the governor is the fact that it was a national level ESCOs that did the primaries. So this is a peculiar point. If the governor maintains his position and the court agrees to overturn his decision, the seats of the National Assembly members have already been lost. So this is a peculiar issue that the judiciary really have to look into. So moving forward, when there are cases like this, it will not have to affect the National Assembly or the state House of Assembly candidates.
Right, I get your point, Celestina. And then there's another state that you expect that, many people will be, expectant as to what the Supreme Court has to say. You mentioned that there were 2 states that had, a cooler fact, so to speak. Which other state is that? Could it be Kano?
Exactly, Kemi, it is Kano, because we know Kano has raised a lot of issues and reactions, judging from the tribunal to the Court of Appeal. We recall that there was also an issue that raised from the judgment, that the copy of the judgment that the appellants got from the Court of Appeal, wherein the court wanted to say all issues resolved against the respondent is said in favor of the respondent. That was what was on the copy, the body of the judgment. But the pronouncement made by the court was different. So persons were more or less, as at that time, accused the Court of Appeal of being complicit, but the registrar of the Court of Appeal had come out to say in a press statement that it was a clerical error, and when the litigants or the parties approached the court, that error would be corrected. So here now it's the Supreme Court's decision to be made today to know if the court will maintain status quo and allow the governor continue his term, or say otherwise. Either way, it will either maintain the structure in Plateau or Kano State, or otherwise reshuffle or readjust the political structure in those states.
All right, Celestina, thank you so much. We'll get more reactions from you in our subsequent bulletins, but please also stay safe, and of course, you're looking so good.
Thanks again, Celestina.
Thank you very much, Celestina.
Well, let's come back to our studio here in the studio in Lagos, of course, talking about the upcoming Gani Fawenhinmi lecture, Fawenhinmism. And Seyi Olawunmi, who chairs the Ikeja branch of the NBA, is still with us. Talking about impact, Mr. Olawunmi, over the past years, many people feel that, meetings as this, and I'm not talking about this lecture, but, all this, come and talk events, when people expect that, all the brilliant expositions of the speakers, expect that some concrete action is taken. If you can analyze, if you can assess the impacts that past events have made and what have been done with them, what should Nigerians, expect this time around?
You see, I agree with you completely. I think that first and foremost, let me say that we talk too much in Nigeria. I think what we do most times is to talk and talk and talk. Is the way that the country is structured, really. If you look at our colleague who was brutalized by the police, it would have been another, situation where people would just come together. And of course, yesterday we were actually ready to go out when the Commissioner of Police came in. Okay. And when he came in, he said, "You are coming to meet me. Now I'm here. Let us talk." It would have been another talk show. Talk of the elites, like one of our past chairmen described it, because the police and the lawyers, and he asked at that time, what if the man who had been brutalized was the organizer, the mechanics, or the carpenter on the road? I mean, would you have come to the organizer on the road to talk? I mean, it should have been another talk show. But our members insisted that we still have to go out. It was not the kind of protest that would be disruptive, that people will carry, sticks and things like that. It was just a peaceful march. And so we are gradually getting out of the situation where people will just gather and talk. So this year, we're expecting that after this program, that will be, we're going to take details of everything we're going to discuss at the program and ensure that the concerned government agencies, government structures are reached out to, so that they will know that the era of talking, we are gradually, getting, especially, lawyers in Nigeria, we're now getting out of the era of just sitting down to talk and just talk without doing anything. This society must change. And because it must change, we must do more than talking. So I agree with you. We just talk. Yes, in the past, I've had the opportunity of asking that question. Now we talk. Now we come here, we meet, not only at the level of Fawenhinmism, like you have said. In every of our endeavor, we just sit down and we just talk. And that is the end. And so the government of the day will feel like, okay, let them talk. And we have even invited guests to come to our program. And what they tell us is that, what is the essence?
Just talk.
We just talk. We were there some years ago. We talk. We invited, I can't readily recollect now, even for this year. And he said, "Are you sure?" Even Professor Wole Soyinka, it was difficult getting him to come to share this program, because the question really is, the last time we talk about these things, what are the changes? What have we done to bring about change? And that is where Gani is different. Anyway, if I have to go, that route, Chief Gani will not just talk. If Gani believes in a cause, he will fight it to a logical conclusion. We are all living witness to how he handled the case of Dele Giwa when he died. He fought to even the Oputa panel. He didn't stop. So, and that is the attitude of an average member of my branch. And of course, you could attest to that. We don't just talk. And we are hoping that this year, by the grace of God, it won't stop on the 15th. we'll take the struggle, we'll continue with the struggle to ensure a better Nigeria.
So looking at the Ikeja branch itself and trying to deviate from the Gani Fawenhinmi lecture, if you go to the courts, somehow you're scared of tax and fake issues of fake lawyers there. What is the branch doing to stop that?
Thank you very much. You see, honestly, I don't even know where to start because it's worrisome. When you go to our courts now, if you get to Ikeja, you see them everywhere. I've made frantic effort, or let me say my administration, we made frantic effort to ensure that we take them away from the courts area, but they keep coming back. And there's a committee that we have set up. It's a task force. Okay. Yesterday, they were at the registry, they were everywhere. After our march, they went to the registry and to the court areas to ensure that we do away with those tax. You know, the question that the public most times come to ask us at the secretariat is, okay, you don't want us to go to these people. Where do you want us to go? So by the grace of God, as I speak to you, we're also looking at a way to ensure that there is social media sensitization such that when you are coming to that environment, you know where to go to. There was the case of a student who did an affidavit for about 13,000 naira. And honestly, 13,000 naira, fake affidavit for his admission. He was denied the admission and he came to the secretariat. And I said, I mean, where do you want me to start? Who did this for you? He said he saw the person right at, is it Cornwall? The station opposite the Lagos hospital there. And they accosted him and they asked him, well, come and do. And they did the affidavit, a fake affidavit. He submitted it. It turned out to be fake.
This issue of affidavit has been on for quite a long time. Even at the front of the hospital premises, on the road to the court, you see a lot of them. They say, telling you they can do affidavits and just wait for me. I'll go into the court and meet the judge and come back and you get an affidavit. Absolutely. This issue has been there over time. How do you intend on clearing the system?
We have started. And I assure you that within the first quarter of this year, by the grace of God, we'll do away with all of them. We have started. You know, most times, like the question my sister asked earlier, we just talk. We don't do anything. Then there is the problem of our colleagues too. Because the truth must be said. Who encourage those people? You understand what I'm saying? Somebody is coming to court, maybe because you don't want to leave the comfort of your office. You just say, okay, just go to the court. They will do it for you there. Who will do it? So we are going to ensure that within the second quarter of this year, we do away with all of that. We have started the campaign.
Are you using technology as well to drive this?
Yes, we are. We're going to sensitize our members, sensitize the public, and, you know, we'll go all out to ensure that what happens every time is that the moment you go, they leave.
Then when they leave?
When they leave, you know, when you leave, they come back. But now there is a committee that has taken up the job and they have, you know, assured us that this time around, these people must leave. They must leave.
And I also, you know, want to latch on to that aspect of, you know, sensitizing the public, because you just said now somebody paid an outrageous fee of 15,000 naira to 13,000 to procure an affidavit that turned out to be fake. Perhaps this should also be an opportunity for you to also sensitize Nigerians as to, you know, what makes this document fake and what should be the way to go if they need an affidavit, because you can use this document for diverse reasons.
Yes, thank you very much. You see, most times what they do is get your details, get the facts of what you're depositing to, and just take the document somewhere and type out and put fake stamp.
Without going
they don't.
To the
because, you know, they don't know what the document is. And you cannot give what you don't have. So when you come, you know, it's just the typical, we have to chop mentality. One of them once told me, well, Chairman, we don't go steal now, we go chop. You understand? So, you know, they just bring the documents, they just do it somewhere and give to you. So that's why we have said now that we're going to sensitize the public and we'll help to take them through the process so that when you are approaching that area of the court, you know where to come. You know how to go about it. So that is what we are doing now.
All right, and of course, this is, many people would be interested as to knowing what the NBA Ikeja branch, especially Ikeja, that's, the seat of power, what the NBA Ikeja branch is doing about, some of these developments. But then public interest litigation, let's quickly talk about that. And that's one of the ideals that the late Chief Gani Fawenhinmi stood for, and you have also alluded to that. And I want to take you up on what you also said earlier on, talking about how Gani would feel if he was alive today, even looking at the state, because he was interested in the relevance of the legal profession. He was interested in the development of the legal profession. If you ask this question, and I'm asking now, that would Gani Fawenhinmi be happy at the modern day lawyer, how the lawyer is, advocating for public interest litigation, fighting for the good of the common man. Do you think the bar is living up to expectations in this regard, or what is the bar doing, really?
Well, I'll tell you that we are really. We are doing our best. You cannot have... well, I'm not God, so then let me not say that you can't have another Gani. Gani was a very typical man. And you don't have people like that every time, maybe once in a century, you understand? And every time people ask me until now, I'll say, you cannot have another Gani. But then, I am not God, you understand? So I cannot say that you cannot have another Gani. But then, we have some of our colleagues who are doing their best. And the bar, the Nigerian Bar Association, we are doing our best too. And honestly, if you have been following our activities, you will know that though we don't have Gani again, but we have other, we have our father-in-the-law, Mr. Femi Falana, and we have the likes of them who are doing very, very well, who are speaking truth to power, who are speaking to government, who are taking governments to court to ensure a better society. So we are doing so much.
Is it enough?
Is it enough? And my sister also asked if Gani were to be alive. I think I need to address that together. I will say no. We can do better. Okay. Truthfully, we can do better. And if Gani will not be happy with present-day Nigeria, and because we are not happy, nobody is happy. Things are very hard. You now see courts. You see government disobey court judgment. You see police disobey court judgment. Recently, just yesterday, some persons who were at the secretariat of the association, they came to complain about the police pulling down their structure in the face of an order of the court forbidding them to do so. They brought the structure down. Our colleague that we protested for, the same situation was what happened when he went into a station, and of course the police were saying, "Oh, you are a lawyer. You are a lawyer." Okay, I want to see the weight of your association, and that your lawyer thing. I want to see what you will do. I will go ahead. I will lock you up. It will only happen in a society like Nigeria, in a civilized society. I don't think that will be the order of the day.
And we understand that the DPO has been transferred now.
Yes, we got to know. We got to know about that 2 days ago, and the question we have asked the police hierarchy is, how could that be? You are transferring a DPO. You did not ask question from anybody. The man that was brutalized, you didn't call him. The association, you didn't ask us any question. So how can you just be a judge in your own matter and as to now bring... Because you see, what we are fighting for, really, is not that our colleague has done very well. We were not there,
right,
but we want justice. And that is what we are saying. So if our colleague too has conducted himself in a manner that is unbecoming of a lawyer, he has to face the law. So that is, we are not saying, oh, police go and discipline your man. We're saying, bring all of us together. What is the cause? What happened? What actually happened? And I understand that there are CCTV cameras everywhere. Look at the footage of the CCTV. Right. Then come to the decision as to whether your DPO has done very well or not. And we're going to continue. It won't stop at what we did yesterday.
All right. Seyi Olawunmi, we thank you very much for speaking with us on TVC Breakfast, and we hope for a successful program on Monday,
On Monday.
well as success in all your activities, especially for the